There comes a moment in a man's life when he realizes something painful. The more he chases, the further she drifts away. He texts first. He checks his phone constantly. He overthinks every word. He rearranges his schedule. He becomes available at all times. And somehow, instead of pulling her closer, it does the opposite. She replies slower. She becomes colder. She seems distracted. Her energy fades. This confuses most men because logically it doesn't make sense. If I show more interest, shouldn't she feel more desired? If I prove I care, shouldn't she appreciate it? If I chase harder, shouldn't she choose me? But attraction doesn't work on logic. It works on emotional tension. And chasing kills tension. Here's the truth most men never hear. When you chase a woman, you are silently telling her that you are afraid to lose her. Not with words, with behavior. And fear is not attractive. The moment you start chasing, the power dynamic shifts. She becomes the prize. You become the applicant. And once that happens, her subconscious relaxes. She no longer wonders about you. She no longer fears losing you. She no longer feels mystery. You're predictable. You're available. You're safe. And safety without challenge turns desire into boredom. Now here's where everything flips. When you stop chasing, truly stop, something strange happens inside her. Not immediately, not dramatically, but subtly and deeply. Silence creates space, and space creates thought. When you pull back, her mind has room to ask questions. Why hasn't he texted? Did I say something wrong? Is he losing interest? Is there someone else? These questions are uncomfortable, and discomfort triggers emotional investment. Most men don't understand this part. They think love grows through reassurance, but attraction grows through uncertainty. When you're always there, she never has to think about you. When you disappear, her mind does the chasing for you. This is why men who walk away are remembered, and men who chase are forgotten. Now let's be very clear about something. Stopping the chase does not mean playing games. It does not mean manipulation. It does not mean pretending not to care. It means you stop abandoning yourself for her approval. You stop proving. You stop convincing. You stop overgiving. You return to your life. And that shift alone changes how she feels. Because women don't miss attention. They miss presence. And presence only has value when it can be lost. Think about it. Have you ever missed someone who was always available? Someone who never left? Someone who never challenged you emotionally? No. You miss what you almost lost. When you stop chasing, she doesn't immediately miss you. First, she feels the loss of control. She was used to being pursued, used to being the center, used to your energy flowing toward her, and suddenly, it stops. No long texts, no emotional dumping, no constant validation. This doesn't make her calm. It makes her curious, and curiosity is the gateway to desire. At first, her ego notices the silence. Then her emotions start filling the gap. She replays conversations. She rereads old messages. She wonders why you changed. And here's the most important part. She starts romanticizing you. Because the mind always fills silence with imagination. And imagination is more powerful than reality. When you were chasing, she saw everything. Your effort, your availability, your need. There was nothing left to imagine. But when you pull back, she starts imagining your life without her. And that's when fear appears. Not fear of being alone, fear of being replaceable. Women don't chase men they control. They chase men they feel they might lose. This is why stopping the chase feels so unnatural for most men. Your instincts scream, do something, fix it, reach out, explain. But restraint is power. Silence is not weakness. Silence is confidence. And confidence is felt, not heard. When you stop chasing, you communicate something without saying a word. I want you, but I don't need you. I choose you, but I won't beg for you. I value connection, but I value myself more. That message hits her deeper than any paragraph you could ever send. And here's the part most men don't expect. The moment you stop chasing, you start changing too. Your energy comes back to you. Your focus shifts. Your self-respect returns. You become grounded again. And women feel grounded men differently. They feel safer. They feel challenged. They feel drawn in. Because now you're no longer reaching up toward her. You're standing still, and she has to decide whether she wants to step toward you. This is the first crack in her emotional certainty. And uncertainty is where missing begins. But this is only the beginning. Because once the silence sets in, once the chase ends, once the power equalizes, a deeper psychological process starts inside her. One that makes her think about you when you're not there. One that makes her feel your absence emotionally. One that makes her reconnect with the version of you she didn't fully appreciate. And that's what we're breaking down next. Segment 2 will reveal what happens inside her mind after the silence, and why most women come back exactly when you stop trying. At first, she doesn't panic. She notices. But she assumes. She tells herself stories. He's probably busy. He'll text later. He always does. Because her past experience with you trained her to expect pursuit. Your attention was reliable, predictable, guaranteed. So initially, she feels calm. But calm doesn't last long when expectations aren't met. Hours pass, then a day, then another. And slowly her certainty starts to crack. This is the moment most men never see, because they're too busy breaking the silence before it does its work. Inside her mind, something shifts. She starts checking her phone more often. She opens your chat just to see the last message. She rereads conversations she once skimmed through, not because she suddenly realized she loves you, but because her emotional pattern was interrupted. The human mind hates unfinished loops. When you stop chasing, you create one, and unfinished emotional loops demand attention. Now her thoughts begin to change tone. Instead of assuming, she starts questioning. Why hasn't he reached out? Did I misread him? Did I push too far? Is he pulling away on purpose? These questions don't feel good. They create tension, and tension creates emotional attachment. This is where most women start thinking about a man more after he leaves than when he was present. Because presence feels normal, absence feels meaningful. Your silence forces her to confront something she avoided before. Your value outside of her attention. When you were chasing, your value seemed tied to her response. Now that you've stopped, your value feels independent. And independence is magnetic. Here's something most men don't understand about female psychology. Women don't miss men because of words. They miss men because of emotional contrast. When you were constantly there, she felt nothing changing. When you pulled back, she felt the difference. The difference between attention and no attention. The difference between certainty and doubt. The difference between control and loss. And loss is powerful. Loss forces reflection. She starts replaying moments differently. That joke you made that she brushed off? Now it feels charming. That confidence you showed early on? Now it feels rare. That calm energy you had before you started chasing? Now she misses it. This is how memory works. The brain doesn't store reality. It stores emotionally charged snapshots. And your absence charges those memories with emotion. Suddenly she remembers you not as the guy who tried too hard, but as the guy who made her feel something. Now let's talk about ego, because this is critical. When you stop chasing, it doesn't just affect her heart. It hits her identity. Most women are used to being pursued, not because they're arrogant, but because society conditions them to expect attention. So when a man who once wanted her suddenly stops trying, it creates an internal conflict. If I'm desirable, why isn't he chasing? If I mattered, why did he pull away? If I had control, why do I feel unsettled? This isn't about you anymore. It's about her self-perception. And when self-perception is threatened, the mind looks for answers. Often, the easiest answer is you. She might not text you right away. She might stalk your social media. She might casually bring you up in conversation. But make no mistake, you are back in her emotional space. And this time, you didn't force your way in. You were invited by absence. Now here's where men usually sabotage everything. The moment they sense distance, they panic. They send a just checking in text. They send a paragraph explaining themselves. They try to reopen the loop too early, and that kills the process. Because mystery dies the second you over-explain. Silence only works if it's grounded. Not resentful, not needy, not strategic in a childish way. Grounded silence says, I'm okay without constant validation. That's the energy she feels, and that energy makes her reevaluate you, not as a chaser, but as a man with standards, and standards create attraction. Now, something else begins to happen. Something deeper. She starts comparing. She talks to other men. She scrolls. She goes out. But something feels off. The attention is there, but it doesn't land the same. Because attention without emotional tension feels empty, and tension was something you created, even if she didn't realize it at the time. This is when she starts missing how you made her feel, not just your presence. And that's dangerous territory for her emotions. Because feelings don't follow logic. She might tell herself she shouldn't care. She might tell herself she's fine. She might even act indifferent. But internally, the question keeps returning. Why does his absence affect me this much? And once that question forms, the chase has already reversed. Now she's emotionally moving toward you, even if physically nothing has happened yet. But there's one final trigger that decides whether she misses you quietly or whether she reaches out. And it has nothing to do with texting her first. It has everything to do with how you hold your frame when she feels the loss. That's what we're diving into next. Segment 3 will expose the exact moment she starts chasing, and the one mistake that makes her lose interest again instantly. There is a specific moment, quiet, subtle, almost invisible, when her emotions shift direction. It doesn't look dramatic. There's no confession.